Call to order. Estacada Traffic and Public Safety Committee to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thought for sure we're gonna have another work there today.
Thank you. Okay, Lana, can we get roll call, please?
Commissioner Moriarty,
Here?
Commissioner Burke.
Here.
Commissioner Terrell,
Here.
Commissioner Dobbs,
Here.
Commissioner Sedgberg,
Here.
Excellent, thank you. All right, everyone's had a chance to look at the. Oh, excellent. We will do that one first. Okay. Excellent. Okay, we do have someone for community comments. So Beverly, would you like to come up and to the microphone, to the table, please? Proposed Founder's Day. All right.
Don't need to. Okay. My name is Beverly Nordstrom. I'm a commissioner on the Arts Commission.
You speak in the microphone, please, Beverly. Thank you.
Is that better? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I have, my liaison is Jerry Tenbush. This is something I have talked about for quite a while now. Jerry said for me to work with, DEC. I've met with one of the members of DEC and I've also met with Melanie. So this is what I'm proposing as a general citizen. So even though I'm an arts commissioner, I'm just stirring things up here to help get things moving. My strengths happen to be in organizational management, business management, change management. So there we have it. So we are coming up on the 120-year celebration of our city. And I think we should do something in a walk before we run basis. So what I'm netting this out, proposing that we just wrap around acknowledgement of our anniversary of our founders, call it something like Founders Day celebration, to be expanded every 5 years in a big way, to get started, not to have a separate day, but to wrap around an existing event such as the 4th of July parade. And going over things that we can do to acknowledge our roots, the struggles especially, that Estacada had at its foundation is exactly the same thing Estacada is going through now. Growth always is messy. There's always the same issues, and it's what they faced back in 1904, 1905. So what I'm proposing is that we have an emphasis. For example, the Arts Council, we're putting together a focus on the 120-year celebration, Founders Day, and an art show at the library. And we are hoping to have a float in the parade and to have something called Living History, where we assign certain noted characters in 1904, 1905, give them a script, and you walk around during the parade, just amongst the people, introduce yourself, and get people started, get them excited about. We had a good beginning. It was beginning with challenges, and we worked our way through it the same way we're trying to do now. So I am here to try to get you excited about what could happen, especially from the beginning to looking forward to 2030, to do it in a larger way. But I was hoping to get every commission to say, yes, we would love to have an emphasis in some way what we're doing. So I would spend some time today going through newspapers in 1905 about what happened with the streets and safety, and it's actually issues they had to work through, is how to keep the drainage out of Main Street and to have ditches, and it was very, very interesting. So I'm throwing out the gauntlet to see if you would like to, as traffic and safety, be a part and have creative ideas of what you would like to have. And one thing I thought of possibly you could do is have some person or people assuming a position and try to talk about, it's time to buy property in Estacada, but we're talking about what was in 1905. Trying to just share the recognition that government, where people are involved, every voice is important and we all want someone to win in some way, but to try to find the middle ground. I think what's really important to me is that Estacada get a strong identity. But my hope for all of this, tell me when I'm almost in 3 minutes.
You're doing fine.
Okay, is that we've had a lot of challenges. For example, you had the railroad coming here. This was supposed to propose in its early day to be the manufacturing hub of the entire metro area because of our resources. That didn't happen. Then it was, the huge emphasis on timber, but that changed. So it's to get an identity to say that Estacada is here. We have lots of purpose. We have destiny. We have a lot to offer this entire metro area, the state of Oregon and the Northwest. I think what I really like is on page 5 of 7. This is an article in January 1905. It says, never fail to speak a good word for your town. Grasp every opportunity to give it honest praise by telling its present advantages and its bright future. Always give the impression that you live in the best town on earth and that you would like to have everyone else to move here and enjoy the good things you do. Be interested in everything that will help your town. Give it all the encouragement you can, if nothing more than your goodwill, and get busy. Have something to do for yourself, if not for others. No one ever got very rich laboring for other people. Remember that each one is a part of the whole, and what benefits one is, to a certain extent, a help or benefit to all. I know we've had lots of controversies, kind of a fracturing because of issues, and issues are normal, especially when it comes to growth and change of administrations. But there is a way to find the destiny that God has for this area, which is unique and beautiful, full of potential and challenges, and growth is always messy, but that's how growth is. And so for me, the history of Estacada is one that speaks hope, that we're moving forward and we're combining as many different people, ethnicities, backgrounds, and that they all come here with something to give. And we want them to give at least a little part to help move this town forward. So, so this is just a basic review. There's a grant that just came out from Cultural Coalition that is heavily weighted on the historical side. Part of what I want to do is capture the oral tradition of people who've been here 2 or 3 generations, and they have stories to tell. Our window to capture that oral history is really short. So I want to capture that. I want to bring back some of the artifacts that was given away to the Oregon City, to bring it back, to let people know that their history is a good history and that the desire to thrive here is very strong. It's in the land. It's just what we do. So I would, bottom line, I would love to have your support, letters of support. I desperately need quickly that when I apply for this grant, I'm about halfway through applying for it, letters from your commission, and it can be multiple, supporting this, that you are excited to celebrate our city. And if you want to be involved in a more definite way, like assuming a character, or I'm sure you have great ideas how to present how Estacada has moved from 1904, 1905 to 2025. There's a lot of history there, and it's on the wall. You have all the commissioners here. That is amazing to me. So you can contact me anytime. My email is bevnordstrom@icloud.com. And you have all my information too. I'm open to texts or anything, just any good idea. I will be asking general public to come on a committee to quickly pull something together because we have very little time to make this happen.
And what was your email again?
bevnordstrom@icloud.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyone have any questions for Bev?
Talk to Elaine at the Foster Farm.
I have not,
You
and
need to get it. She has a lot of history there, and she even has some of the artifacts from here.
that would be
and
wonderful.
It's the original homestead in this area. It's the first homestead.
Yes. One of the traditions that Estacada had was something called a rags and hard times dance. So because of all the transitions, rather than make it real fancy, everyone dressed up in rags. They were taught a dance, or like the turkey trot, the waltz, or the 2-step. So she's been recommended to me for having her student group, even having a dance.
It's an outstanding place with, and
Awesome.
they have the area now built that they can have the dancing in there.
Amazing, good. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, I have her, I met with Melanie and she also recommended me, so. Any
Okay.
other questions?
Anyone else have anything?
If the committee as a whole would like to sign a letter of support, you can make a motion here at the meeting and then she can send it to us and we can just put
Okay.
a general.
What I just wanted to expand on is that most of the people up here at the table won't be around for the support. We could do the letter if everyone's in agreement, but there's going to be different people on the committee come next month.
That's fine. And I mean,
Just for voting on who's going to be there, helping attend, that would be an answer that would come next month
good.
in regards to the committee. So I'd have to ask the new people. That's all.
All right. And if you know personally, anyone who wants to get involved, I'm just collecting people and we're going to make this happen in a beginning way.
Does anyone have any opposition on a letter?
What's the time frame on this that you have to know about
Uh,
as far as commitment?
oh, commitment, you can let me know up through probably May, June. So I mean, we're okay. As far as commitment, as far as letter support, I need that really fast. My grant application is due April 17th. So,
Would this committee do us provide a letter of support and then the new people can add on to it?
My question is, where's the money coming from?
the
She's applying for a grant.
Okay, from who?
the Clackamas Cultural Coalition. And the grant plus some donations would pretty well cover everything except for like $300.
Okay, so, is this a collective thing based on collective agreement to get the grant?
No, ultimately I could just have one commission. It could just be Melanie herself. No, but the support of the different commissions heavily weights the community buy-in, saying, yes, it would be really good for Esticated to celebrate its beginnings and the success of moving forward. So as many commissioners or commissions who can show their support and partnership, even just advertising, talking about it heavily weights the yes factor in getting the grant.
Okay, my question is, can we let you know next meeting? Is that acceptable?
I think that's going to be too late for her grant application for the letter of support, if you choose to sign it. You don't have to choose to sign a letter of support.
Well-
Or everybody could vote, and if you choose not to.
I'm not
anybody else does.
asking any money from you.
Yeah, she's not asking for funding. She's just asking for a letter of support for the application for the project, for the event.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, we want to talk about this or
Sure.
just do it or what? I mean,
Talk about it. Absolutely.
um. Hey, you're in the spotlight, buddy. I'm for participation. This is, and you know, collectively, we participate as much as we can in everything. I'm hesitant on grants. That's my only stumbling thing here. Grants come from somebody that usually is a taxpayer. And that is kind of a stumbling block for me. It's, you know, I understand there's philanthropist groups and stuff that offer grants, but most of the money that people are giving out in grants comes from citizens and the public. And participation, 110%. Enjoy, you know, we could dress up, we could have a party, it'd be fun. But the grant thing, I'm reluctant on. That's just me.
Mhm.
And I don't like taking money from somebody else that didn't work for it. I'm not into free money. That's where I stand. I don't want anything that somebody else worked for. That's my position. So, I don't know how anybody else feels about that. You know, I don't want to be a stick in the mud. I'm just expressing that statement.
First they have to get support from other people before they can even do the grant. And, my perspective is I worked on a lot of projects. A lot of projects in this town. If it wasn't for the grants, the skate park would not be there. If it wasn't for the grants, the library would not be there. There's a lot of things in this town that depended on the grants to get put into play. And as far as the history of Estacada, I think it needs to be brought forward more for the history and not as much as the expansion of town. All you hear is this town is growing, this town is growing. I mean, I was on the committee that fought the people that tried to take the logger off the front grounds. They wanted to take that logger and put it down in the park. But that logger is a memorial for a logger that got killed in Estacada and was hand carved and donated by a person here in Estacada. As far as I'm concerned, if we don't have the grants, we don't have Estacada. That's my opinion.
Okay,
Uh,
Tasha?
Excuse me.
Tasha.
So is this can we still do the letter or are you not wanting to do the letter? For support for,
I,
You'll be in support of the grant.
okay, the letter is in support of the grant. Is that it?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, my understanding, your letter is in partnership if we want to see about Founder's Day happen.
Oh, absolutely want to see it happen.
That's how it would be. And I can put together a sample letter, which you can throw out, add in, dissect, whatever you want, but I can put something together if you want. Give you a starting place.
Go ahead, Tasha.
so is there a consensus on whether or not we're going
Well, I
to?
just think everyone's just talking about it right now.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay,
Go ahead. Nothing?
well, no, I'm
Okay.
just wondering, yeah, where if we're gonna come to an agreement during this
Okay.
meeting on whether or not we're going to support doing.
Well, I
the-
think we will for the letter here,
Yeah.
but
okay,
we'll have to bring in the new people to get the
Okay,
volunteer for,
okay,
down the road. We'll let Bev know May, June.
okay.
Okay.
I do have one. Oh, I'm sorry. You had one.
Heath, go ahead. Okay.
One question, Elena. Can't the city put this on without getting a grant?
Who's gonna put it on?
Pardon me?
Who?
Can't our city put this on?
I'm asking who on staff or other committee would put it on?
Out of the budget committee?
The budget committee would organize an event?
Yeah,
No, the budget committee meets once a year and their regulations for what they meet is statutorily set by the state of Oregon.
but we have a budget that is run by the city and the city manages the money.
The budget committee does not organize events. The budget committee evaluates the budget and sets parameters for the budget. They don't organize events. They're not going to be the people going out there and recruiting people to do these characters like Bev is talking about.
Okay, so I have a question for you that brings up a thought. How did Ant Farm get $300,000 without a secured loan from the city? How did
It
Ant,
is a secured loan
from the city?
from the Urban Renewal District, which is outlined in the guidelines for when we set up the Urban Renewal District. And if you'd like, I can send those to you.
No, it's the question of, money seems to go to certain different things out of our
Bev
city.
can request, there is a community grants option, and if she chooses, she can request funding through that community grant options. We send money to a lot of different other events that the city does not organize, such as the Fungus Festival for like the Little League. The city does give out money for other events, and if Bev wants to ask for that money, she can. That's not what she's asking for here. She's asking for you guys to write a letter of support,
Okay, which includes the grant.
which
agreement.
includes you supporting her application for a grant.
Okay, I'm for the event. It's just,
That's it.
that's.
Good.
Dialogue is not harmless.
Let's have a motion and a vote,
I
please.
just wanted to say that I, as a history major, I have also been on the Estacada Cemetery District. And I'm also commander of the American Legion here in town, so I'm all for you putting in for it. I hope you're successful. The 3 times that I put in for grants to beautify our 9 cemeteries, I was shot down all 3 times. So best of luck.
Okay,
But I'm for the letter of support for this committee. So just all in favor of the letter of support for the Arts Commission, say aye.
with Founder's Day, yeah.
Founder's Day, but for the Arts Commission, right?
No.
No?
This is, the Arts Commission is coming alongside. This is, everyone's going to share the burden.
Okay. Okay,
Did we all lie?
no, just
Oh.
all in favor of the letter of support, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bev.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And we'll be in contact with you on the second part of your question. Okay. Thank you. All right, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. I'm sure everyone's read the February 2025 minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Motion passes. Okay, moving on. Presentation reports. Chief Mendoza, you're up.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. We're going to show a PowerPoint here and we'll work through it. If you have any questions, you don't necessarily have to wait to the end. So this is very similar to the presentation I did for City Council. I did add a couple of slides, which hopefully answers one of the questions that came from Commissioner or excuse me, from a City Councilor. So we'll go to the next slide. And what we're going to see here is just a review of 2024. And all the slides are going to be very similar, so it should be easy to track. The 2022 is on the left, 23 in the middle, and 24 on the right. And that's just showing us kind of that progression over time, where we stand with these different categories. So over the last 3 years, these are reported crimes, not to be confused with calls of service. And the other thing I wanted to add is that all of this information is available at your fingertips on the dashboards tab at the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. So for reported crimes last year, we saw I was happy to report last year, right, that trend of property crimes dropping dramatically, which is our top line, went from 151 down to 84, and then last year was at 79. So that was good. We saw that dramatic drop, and then it kind of leveled off slightly lower for property crimes, which I was pretty happy with over the last couple of years. We see a slight upward trend for both society and person crimes from last year to this year. And then you could see the society was kind of a dip and then kind of back up almost even where it was in 22. And we'll go to the next slide. So this is can you go back one? I think we skipped one there, unless I have them out of order there. I think that's going forward. Yeah. Yeah, and this is so this one is just highlighting property crimes alone. So I broken them out instead of taking as a group, just kind of listed individually. But you see that same trend, right? It's fairly consistent of a drop to 23 and then kind of leveling off in 24. So we'll go to the next. So all that is good, kind of staying with that current trend. Person crimes, we are seeing an upward trend and these were broken out to assault, harassment, and menacing. What I would point out to these that for Estacada and our population size, that these are fairly small numbers. It is just the way it's projected on the graph, but we are seeing an increase there. When I say small numbers, we're talking from 6 up to 12, 15 up to 23. And we'll go to the next slide. Society crimes. This one's a little bit more difficult to show you, but it's just kind of a mixed bag, I guess you would say. So your weapons related stuff went down slightly. Everything else was up slightly. Again, smaller numbers, looking at 5 going to 11, 4 going to 11, 5 going to 7. The next slide. Patrol activity. This is where you do want to see those numbers going up, right? We did increase the number of deputies that are assigned here to Estacada. So you would see, increasing your personnel, you're going to see your self-initiated activity go up. So we see that in the traffic stops, which is that top line just slowly rising, which is to be expected. Traffic enforcement is something that that is encouraged for our deputies, and it's one of the main things that we're working on here in town, because traffic complaints is one of our number one concerns here in Estacada. I did want to point out on this one, I pointed out that our high priority calls actually went up dramatically from 22 to 23, and then just a slight increase from 23 to 24. But I was actually kind of surprised by this. It's maybe 4-fold increase from 22 to 23 of high priority calls, which just means that there was a need for service. Those are those priority calls are designated by our dispatch center, and they identify what type of call it was, whether it's a higher priority, medium priority, or low priority. But there was that sharp increase, and then it stayed at that higher level. And we'll go to the next slide. Here's our call activities: crashes, disturbance, noise complaints, abandoned vehicles. Another kind of a mixed bag of kind of where they're at, but you'll see crashes kind of peaked in 23 and then dropped a decent amount, dropped 13 in 24. Disturbances went up. Noise complaints went up quite a bit from 23 to 24. And the next slide. Patrol activity. So this is, I've got domestic violence in there. I kind of matched activities that would where the numbers were closer together for these slides, so that the graphs would make sense. But domestic violence was up slightly over the last 2 years. You can see a slight increase. Parking complaints. Now this one is, I need to point out, the gray line went up sharply, but those were parking complaints that were initiated by your patrol deputies in town. So again, with doing traffic enforcement, they're also checking on vehicles that are either parked illegally or maybe oddly parked in a situation, so they're going to go out on a parking complaint and check on that vehicle. And those were deputy initiated. So the next one is the kind of the green line, which went up to 34. So it went up slightly. So those are the public, the citizens are calling these in. But with the deputies in their spare time, they're identifying these issues, which is why you're seeing that number go up dramatically. It would be hard to say whether those parking complaints would have, they were there. Was there an increase, or was it just the deputies driving around being proactive and noticing it? I think that's more likely the case, that someone just didn't call in about it and the deputies identified it in their spare time. And we'll go to the next slide. And this slide, the next three slides are in response to a request that I had from the city council of how do we compare to other cities? And I talked with the city manager about it. So what I really want to do was compare maybe Malala and Sandy because they're closer to us in geography and then also size. The difficult part in comparing, you want to compare apples and apples, right? The difficult part is at the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office, when we come up with these, the dashboards, we'll identify which crimes we're reporting on person crimes, property crimes, and society. And all the parameters are exactly the same. There's no like overall regulation of what each city does. And so it would be hard to compare us to other cities, just straight across apples to apples. It may be close, but this would be an exact comparison, which is why I just used Happy Valley and Wilsonville because we also contract, as you know, with those cities. So I know the statistics are drawn the same. What is interesting about this, so the actual statistic Estacada is in gold at the very bottom, but because of the scale of the graph, you actually don't notice so much where in 22, we went from 151 down to 84 property crimes, almost cutting it in half. But the graph doesn't really depict that because of the scale. So Wilsonville and Happy Valley are roughly 5 times our size in population. So when I multiplied those numbers by 5, which is the next line up, the 755, the green line comes down, then you see that more dramatic decrease by scale. But I wanted to make sure that I gave you the actual numbers and then what it looks like to scale there. So we mirrored the other cities in that all 3 cities saw a decrease in property crimes in 23. And then in 24, we were kind of leveling off with, looks like Happy Valley, but Wilsonville still continued kind of a little bit more downward trend in property crimes. We'll go to the next slide. And then this is just a straight comparison, person crimes, where you see that every city or every jurisdiction that we listed here is slightly up. And again, for us, smaller number, smaller city, but it is a slight increase there. And the last one should be the society crimes, which we mirrored, looks like Wilsonville peaked in 23 and then came down slightly, and we're kind of mirroring what Happy Valley did. So in comparison, a slight increase from last year, but fairly consistent with 22 levels. And the next slide, I think the next one is going to be maps of traffic activity. So reported crash locations is your map on the left-hand side. There's not too many dots. The color denotes how often it happened at that precise location. And then the slide on the right shows, I just thought it would be kind of a nice side-by-side comparison to see where the traffic citations had been issued by the deputies in Estacada in town. And that would be not just our Estacada deputies, but also the county deputies.
Is it all 3 years, chief?
This was just 24.
Oh,
Thank
just
you
24.
for
Thank
asking
you.
that. Yeah, this just 24.
Okay, thanks.
And I think, unfortunately, I cut off the map because I think there were a couple at the top where those crashes were on the left map. But that gives you kind of a comparison of where the crashes are, where the traffic stops are happening. But that's, deputies out there being active. Oh, and I do want to point out, traffic citations does not, the deputies don't write tickets for every traffic stop they do. It's probably more like I would guess probably maybe 20, I'm just throwing out a guess, maybe 20% of the time they do a traffic stop that there's a citation issued. So the actual number of truck stops is significantly higher than the number of tickets that are issued. I think the next one's the last slide, and it's just asking if you have any questions. Yes, sir.
I do. it's referring to the burglary out there, Brousseau's Coach Works,
Yes.
back in November 2024.
Mhm.
Wonder if you had any more information on that.
Yeah,
I know it was under investigation. I know you can't.
yeah, I could give you some, I can give
Okay.
you some information. Deputy Bigler helped me out with this today. Um, actually, I'll start off by saying it was we were talking about it. I was like, what a team effort, because Deputy Bigler, Deputy Kyler, who's the SRO, Deputy Hutton, and then two more of our county deputies all were involved in this. So that the sounds like a slight confusion in burglary versus theft. It was actually a theft. They didn't enter a building, but they did steal some items from the property. So it was a theft investigation. A deputy that was working the East District in the county had actually pulled over, stopped the suspect for some traffic violations prior to the crime being committed, which was honestly just good police work, good crucial. We got some good crucial evidence from that. We've got the person being placed in the area at the time, body cam and dash cam video of the suspect, which was then matched with the video surveillance from the business, which helped us identify who we were looking for. The person was not from this area. He was actually contacted over on 82nd Avenue and later arrested for that crime. And so that currently is sitting with, that case is currently sitting with the DA's office for prosecution. I believe it was 4 days, 3-4 days from crime to arrest. But like I said, we talk about traffic stops and the deputies out there doing traffic stops. And we do that to make the community safer, right? Slow people down. We don't often, it's not, like I said, we don't write tickets every single time we pull somebody over. So I know that sometimes there's that concern of, hey, the traffic enforcement going up and we're writing a lot of tickets. You also see circumstances like this where, they see a suspicious vehicle that has some violations, whether a citation was issued or not. Those deputies are doing proactive work, and they use that particular traffic stop to solve what later turned out to be a felony crime. And we're able to tie that person to the location, to the vehicle, and identify them and make an arrest.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good,
Sounds
all
like a
around
good
teamwork.
time.
Yeah.
I have a question on
ma'am.
gas theft.
Yes.
Stealing of gas. I know the U-Haul up on Wade has been hit at least twice
Mhm.
and stuff. So any way that they're going to be able to calm that down at all?
Yeah, I'm familiar with maybe nothing recent, but in the past that happening. I remember reading some reports on that. Yeah, that is definitely something that our
Yeah.
deputies
It,
can,
it happened a couple weeks ago.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely something we can keep an eye on, keep an eye out for. Again, that's one of those things of business. What we would recommend is kind of hardening that location. Whether it's be fencing, lighting, cameras, things like that that can help us. But then also the deputies being in and around town, keeping an eye out, stopping suspicious people and vehicles, things like
I
that.
know he's turned his trucks all around backwards, even though U-Haul's giving him a bad time about it because he needs the gas tanks out on the
Oh,
street.
mhm. Yeah,
You
so
know.
it could be seen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oranges.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I understand that I've had several discussions with city manager about this. A couple months ago, I actually just happened to be in town when I was given a report that there was some. It wasn't as much the oranges, but more of a concern of a juvenile being out on the sidewalk with someone that's selling oranges. So I actually responded to one of those myself. Our deputies have been given direction that there are some city ordinances that require somebody selling items in the city to have a business license, and there's certain steps that people have to go through to do those things. And so we've asked the deputies to pay attention to that and address those issues when they come up. And the result, I did also talk to a couple of other chiefs in the county, just kind of like how have they dealt with that situation? And specifically, I talked to the Canby chief, Chief Tro, about it. And it basically is like, hey, yeah, we've contacted these individuals, addressed it, and then they tend to move outside of town. I can tell you that there's not really, there won't be much done about it if they're out in the county, just because there's not the same, they don't have that city ordinance as county code preventing them from doing that. And that will probably continue outside of the city, but I think once we've addressed it enough that they'll move outside of the city.
So is it, and when this happens, do you request a license, or is that part of the procedure? Because in the city, I know if we have vendors across the street or anything like that, we're supposed to notify and make sure, like if you have the agricultural folks here selling things and everything, so that presides in the city. And since it does, then if they don't have that, then they move on. They have to move on, or how do they move on?
Yeah, so it gets a little bit complicated in that a lot of times you're going to have a communication barrier, right? So you're going to be using, you're going to either ask for someone that speaks Spanish to respond to the location, or use a cell phone, translation app, that type of thing to communicate. The other, challenge with it is that what happens is the people that are selling are dropped off at these locations. They're dropped off in the morning with the instructions that, hey, you're going to sit here and you're going to sell these items, and we're going to pick you up at, the designated time, 4:00, and they've got their 10 bags of oranges that they're supposed to sell. And so I've asked the deputies to kind of watch in those hours. I think the last time that we were looking into this, we're finding that they were dropped off around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and picked up around 4 p.m. So we're watching for the pickup and drop off so that we can also communicate with the person that's driving the vehicle. There's tools that we can use, like traffic stops, right? Issuing citations, ordinance violations, to put pressure on people to follow the rules, essentially. And, people don't like to be issued tickets and don't like to be given warnings. And so the hope is that by putting, asking somebody to follow the rules, is that, if they don't want to follow the rules, that they will move to a different place.
So just one more question, Chief. So is our citations given to these people because they're first timers, they get a citation, or they just get to move on? Or
Yeah, I don't know if any citations have been issued for that, for the business license be a city ordinance. But we do have the ability to facilitate that.
it's sad because they're hurting. I mean, you got a lady out there with a little kid, and sometimes there's just teenagers out there that, so
Yeah.
Wrenches your heart, but
How do you deal with that when you have like a teenager out there with a child? I mean, barely teenager with a child in diapers, basically, no adults around.
Yeah, the one that I responded to, I was thinking that I was going to have to get DHS involved, because when I'm looking at the person, I thought, oh my gosh, it's like a 12-year-old and a 2-year-old sitting out here. So if that were the case, then it probably would be an instance where we get DHS involved with the state. But it's, it can be deceiving at times, because the person that we were actually talking to was, I believe, 23 years old. And it was a young child, but it was her child. So I think it's just, looking into things a little bit more and then recognizing like, oh, this person actually isn't, 12 years old. She just looked like she was 12 years old, but actually 23.
I was probably deceived.
Yeah. So was I, and I was just across the street. So, yeah.
Just want to make sure kids were being taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the one that I went to, that was the number one thing on my mind. Why, hey, we need to deal with this because, I figured we're gonna get the state involved, but we didn't have to.
Anyone else? Have anything for chief? No? Okay, I just wanted to read this one thing. I was able to get this report from back in January 2025 this year. But it happened at one of the Estacada cemeteries where a burglary occurred and I'm sorry, a Mikasa tamper was, they had cut the shed lock on the ground, and that was only one piece of the equipment that was taken from the site, but it was about $4,500, gas powered, and it happened because there's a new pole barn or a new shed that we have up at a different cemetery. So this is something that we're storing the old ones at. So it happened between the 15th and the 22nd. So I mean, you really can't, determine, but they just put that in there for sake of the sexton maintaining that cemetery. I just want everyone to know that's, what had happened, sort of significant. The district's out $4,500, but it was something that happened in the wintertime. So,
Yeah, what kind of piece of equipment was that? Tamper?
It was a gas powered man operated earth tamper, about 3 feet tall.
Okay. Let me look into that.
Okay.
And I mean, that seems like what we would generally do in that situation is make sure that we email photos of that item out to the other
Right.
deputies and the other jurisdictions. And because, equipment like that will tend to stand out, if somebody's
Right.
holding that down the road at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And we call that a clue.
And like I said, there's like a 7-day window in that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted you to be aware of it. That's
Sure.
all.
No,
Let
thank you.
everyone know. That's all. But I appreciate it. All right. Do you have anything else, chief? Or
No, I think that's it. Thank you for having me and happy to answer any other questions if anybody
Appreciate
has
it.
any.
thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You bet. Thanks.
All right. Okay, moving on. Does anyone have any questions on the fire chief's report from last month, or I think it was a couple months ago? I didn't see anything that stuck out. So, okay, let's move on here to, like, Lena's got in here for me, so I don't have to look for it.
You have an applicant,
Thank you.
Mike.
Committee business.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mike Foster, is he here? All right,
Great.
come on up to the mic, Mike. And in the packet, you see that Mike wrote up all of this. Is anyone have any questions for Mike? Or you just want to give a brief what you did here, 23 years driving, or you just give us a brief why you want to be here and how long you've been here and
Just want to help serve the community. Lived in here 26 years in Estacada, lived in the town. CDL driver, so I drive a lot. And then I was a 22-year appliance repairman, doing service calls pretty much from Eugene up to Longview and all in between. And so done a lot of driving, so I understand that aspect of it.
right,
Seen a lot of idiots over the years. Trust me.
they're still out there.
Defensive driving is your friend.
Yes,
Watch what other people are doing. So,
definitely.
yeah.
Anyone have any questions for Mike, counselor? So get right to the vote, I guess. All right. Everyone in favor of passing on the appointment of Traffic and Public Safety Committee applicant Mike Foster for Traffic Public Safety Committee? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 5-0. Welcome. Well, we'll send it to the council and then.
Yeah, the council meets on Monday. This will be included in their packet. So your whole slate of applicants will be included in
Okay,
the
and
packet
you-
on Monday. And then I'm sure they will appoint you and you can start, you will start the first meeting in April.
Right.
And I'll send you out an email to let you know when that is. Thank you.
We have, Mike, we have Matt and Karina behind you that'll be joining you also. All right. Thank you for showing up tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to second on the bylaws. Go ahead, if you wanna read it, Carrie.
On the Estacada bylaw boards and commissions code. Just a clarification on the verbiage there. When I looked up the definitions on board and committee, and there is a difference. But when the statement is we are a committee, we wrote this thing up, so it's a good document. What I propose is if everybody, on the committee here,
Yes.
agrees with this, that we remove the word board. And we put in committee, the word committee, because it holds the definition of the whole thing. The other words can substitute for what we are and who we're elected to by, being voted in. So, but we're to propose just changing this thing from remove the word board and put in committee member and define what our title is in who we are. And that's just a cleaner, flat out thing. And that's what we are. So as we have counselors, commissions, those are defining words, but if everybody's agreeable with that, it holds our definition of who we are. It's like the fiber of it. And if we, I'll propose that if we vote on it.
Was
Then-
there anything else? I think there were some other ones like trustees.
Pardon me?
Trustees. You wanted to change the community committee members,
Where was that one, Jim? On,
appointment and term. I think it was in some other
It's
What-
under B.
B?
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, A and B, and then,
Yes, that was a verbiage also to change.
okay,
That's correct.
and we're coming up on the March 31st, so that's good. Okay, board,
And
board.
just everywhere where it says board, we will remove that.
Do you need me to amend this and send it to you?
Did you send us the Word version at first?
We'll send you the transition one.
If you sent us the Word version, I can do a find and replace to replace board with committee and it takes me like 10 seconds.
Oh.
That's super easy.
okay.
That you're not manually going through
Right,
and changing every place it says board.
Sure.
If it's a Word version, I can do that.
right,
Okay.
November,
Even this in the PDF version, I can convert it to Word.
Okay.
So if all you're wanting to do is change board to committee
Yes.
and trustee to
Yep.
committee member,
Yes.
that would take me less than a minute to do. That's not a
Okay.
problem.
anything else?
Is, but that's
Um,
just semantics. That's not
Okay.
anything that has to do with
Put it in there,
the
Uh,
actual
other
actions
stuff.
of the committee.
okay,
That goes for the values also and everything there. Just putting that in there, Elena, it's
The values, you want
Well,
to change the
it's-
values?
well, it says board committee members' values so just removing the
That's
word
on both.
board and putting
Ye-
that.
Yeah, everywhere it says
yeah.
board, I'll
Yeah.
find and replace it with committee.
Yeah, committee or committee members, if the word member doesn't, if it's singular and it's member, board member, it'd be
Mhm.
committee member. Okay, you got it.
Yep,
that's
got
on
it.
the Estacado one.
Okay,
That's the thing we have to sign every year.
okay, but,
Yeah.
all right, that's fine. As far as our document, that's pretty much it. One other thing here.
Here, go look.
this, we've got under powers and duties in,
Bylaws.
in the bylaws.
Okay.
Item number 1 under powers and
3.
duties. The board, where would be the committee members shall make recommendations to the city manager concerning selection of the chair and duties. That's, if you look at the charter, we wouldn't be making recommendations to the city manager.
Well, for your chair and duties, you select your chair yourself. So that doesn't need to be a recommendation to the council
Oh,
or
okay.
anybody. You guys just select your chair, and then the duties of the chair are as assigned in the city's code. So the city code outlines what the duties of the chair are. So you could just strike that whole line number 1.
Yeah,
So it's in that second document with the esticade at the top of it?
Yeah.
No, it's in the city's,
Oh, the city.
the city's code.
Okay.
So not the code of conduct in the code on
Thank
the,
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So we'll pull
Municipal
that
code.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
yep, you can just strike line 1 right there under
Okay,
power and
wonderful.
duties.
Of course, then the word board in line 2, yeah, that's just changing the word board there. Item number 3, the committee shall develop recommendations. Once again, those are the words to change. And the board shall provide, item 5, the committee members shall provide research and information to the city on matters related to traffic and public safety. We don't really do that. We don't give the city, we're giving the council,
The council is the city.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't say council, it says city.
Well, that's on the website.
Yeah.
Does
Okay.
it say city?
Just trying to get
council?
the
I don't
verbiage
remember.
dialed.
I'm assuming that most of these duties that you have down here are as listed under the
Copied.
municipal code.
Okay.
And you can't edit the municipal code. If there's things that you want to change on the municipal code, that has to go before council.
Right.
Okay.
So
All right, that's a good thing. Thank you, Elena. Can we change, because this says board, we can't change that, or we can't?
you can change board. Yeah.
Okay, we want to change
Yeah.
board. We want to get it to the,
Yeah, that's not a problem.
okay, super duper. Okay, thank you.
Is anything in the policies? And then that's what we have to sign to be your code of conduct.
Right, okay.
So that's what they do.
Yeah,
We have to sign it.
Yeah, the code of conduct was approved by the council. So if there's changes that you would like to recommend to the code of conduct, that does need to go before the council. You cannot change that yourself.
okay. That's good. That's fine.
Cool.
I think that's it.
Okay, so we can make a motion on this. We're changing board
Yeah.
to committee. We're changing trustee to committee members, and then we are removing bullet point number 1 under powers and duties.
Yes,
Okay, so if I could get a motion in a second, I can do that, and then it'll be updated.
okay.
Can I get a motion, what Elena just said, to change bylaws and, bylaws to what she said?
I move a motion
Make a
to change
motion.
the bylaws.
Okay.
And alter the wording and substitute the word committee member and committee versus board.
Okay,
And remove one line of the statement of item number 1,
under powers and duties.
under powers and duties.
Do I have a second?
Second that emotion.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Okay,
Aye.
thank you. Motion passes.
Okay,
Thank you, Elena.
thank you, Elena.
All right.
You can do that fast in less than a minute.
Yep. Yep.
So
You
you're,
just- You just have to know how to use technology.
okay,
That's
so we'll call you EI, not AI.
Good one. Moving on to SMART goals and work
Okay.
plan.
I am gonna join the meeting from my laptop to pull up
Okay.
a spreadsheet.
Got it.
So give me 1 second for that.
Well, considering you gave me about 15, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so these are the goals that you guys voted at your meeting. And I just divvied them out, and I thought to help you guys keep on track, we should look at these and see if we can set kind of target dates for these goals.
Okay,
And I understand we'll have a big turnover, so we won't be able to pick a responsible person, but some of them, like the first one, neighborhood watch trainings. Let's
Okay.
pick a target date for the first training.
Okay.
And then we could put in notes if you guys want to have like once a quarter, or if you have a goal for when you want to do those.
well, we had, I think there was one in January,
Mhm.
so we did have one for Campanella.
Yeah,
I don't remember the date of that. I can't,
so
Recall.
this is for your next
Next
year,
one?
which starts July 1st.
July 1st.
So
okay.
yeah, we'll start with there. July 1st is when this will start, and then go from July 1st to June 30th of
Okay.
2026.
Let's do July 1st then,
Okay,
or July 31st. What do you guys think? Sure. Right. Right.
put this in the stand so I can type. Do you guys have a preference on like how many you would like to do next year? Would you like to have a goal for 2 or 3?
Well, let's see. I would go with 2.
Okay.
Sure. Anyone else? 2? What do you think?
We talking about?
Neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch
Trainings?
trainings. That's where the,
Yeah, we can do that. Oh, we
Well-
can always edit it, right?
yeah, we
Later.
can edit it. This
Okay.
is just for us to set a goal.
Okay.
Part of what this will do is I will make sure this gets on your agenda when you come up to that month. So
Okay.
if we get to July, I'll put it on your July agenda. Hey, have we had this yet? If we haven't, then it's a little trigger for you guys.
Okay.
Let's keep on schedule for this.
Are you able to send us a PDF of that so we don't
Yes.
mess with it? So we can at least see?
Yep, I will
what
send
we're
this to
shooting
you when
for?
we're done
Okay.
and send it out probably
Thank you.
before your next meeting.
Awesome.
I won't say next week because I'm a very busy woman.
That's no problem.
Okay, and I did put in the date for National Night Out. We already have that
Okay.
scheduled. So you did talk about school updates. You said you wanted to do some crosswalk safety.
Yes.
Do you have any idea when you want to do that? I mean, obviously, it won't be before the end of this school year, so it'd probably
Probably.
be looking at next school year.
Right. We can maybe do something. What does anybody think? Maybe August or September?
Yeah, preschool, restarting open.
Okay. Okay.
We're gonna work on the crosswalks, is that what you're saying?
Crosswalk safety, doing something with the schools. What time of the year do you think? When the school starts up again?
It starts either the Monday before, the Monday after, the Tuesday after Labor Day,
Mhm.
usually.
Okay. So September? Okay, we can do that.
Okay,
You never know nowadays.
Right.
yeah. So you want to put like September 30th, like the end of
Yeah.
September to
Sure.
give you June? Okay.
Yep.
I should know, I live by.
Okay. And then safe routes to school. I know that's going to be later in the packet today. Is that
Right.
something that you guys want to put on your goal for next year to actually
Uh,
do a plan
yeah, 'cause-
update or?
Yeah, that's fine because we have some other things. We did do some, we went with the 2017 Safe Routes to
Yeah.
School in the areas that Melanie, Sadie, the rest of the Clackamas County that walked with them. Certain areas, and then the parents in Estacada also took a survey on
Mhm.
what was, they saw as deficient.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to point those out. So this will be an all year thing.
Okay, ongoing.
Yeah.
Great. And then I don't know what you guys planned for mock-ups, but you did list
Yes.
these different locations. And it might be since Clackamas County is doing their evacuation planning, this might be a good time to consider doing evacuation planning in those neighborhoods.
Okay, sure. We, what did we attend, Carrie? We attended the
CPO.
the feedback.
Oh, yeah, the
session.
Clackamas County.
Melanie was there with us.
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was pretty good.
yeah.
So we're hoping to get another round of that after Clackamas County. is-
They're gonna be doing some outreach events. So like, I think they're gonna be doing events where they're sharing their plan.
Right. Because they had gone to Canby. I think they went to Malala
Yeah.
before they came here. So,
So if you're planning mock-ups, it might be a good idea to go in
Okay.
these neighborhoods and kind of do a
Sure.
mock-up of what an evacuation would look like potentially.
there we go.
It's very timely is all I'm saying. You guys can pick your goals though, but
Okay. All right.
now do you have like dates where you want to think about doing this?
I mean, we can start in like August or something.
Okay.
I think that would be okay.
Now, I'm kind of assuming you don't want to do all of the neighborhoods at once because you probably don't have manpower. So you want to divide
Right.
it up by those neighborhoods. Do you want to do like one a month, one every other month? How do you want to stretch it out?
Probably one. So,
So you want to do August, October, December? That'd be what, 3 of those?
probably not December.
Okay.
That's like everybody's got family stuff going,
So
Birthdays.
January?
full moon.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, was that January?
Yeah, I have August, October, January.
Okay,
Then you want to do like March?
sure.
Okay.
March and May,
That's going to be 26. Sorry. Yeah, I'll go back and change that.
that's okay. Thank you.
July. Okay. And then what you have left is classes, and these are the classes that you put on your project plan. The CPR, first aid, AED, and self-defense. Now, I think some of these overlapped. They could do like first aid and CPR, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what Red Cross could do? So you might be able to do like 2 of them at one meeting.
Okay.
But then some of them probably, I don't imagine you're going to do self-defense and CPR at the
No,
same.
it
So-
was, what was it? CPR, first aid and the AED.
Yeah.
So another one, we could do something for girls babysitting. So they can do something like that, or
Okay,
it's separate, and women's self-defense separate.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Okay, can you go back to, I just want to read
okay.
the guys here, something from Melanie. Can you go back to the neighborhood watch events?
Yes,
It's something that Melanie suggested.
okay.
Let me find my phone here. She said there's another town down south that is doing, sorry. It is not working. Here we go.
16.
Not that one. Here. Okay, this is from the city manager. I was also wondering if the traffic and public safety would consider a campaign to slow traffic in residential neighborhoods. I was looking at another city, I think maybe Eugene, and they were offering yard signs to people to place in their yard, promoting slower, safer driving. That might be something that traffic and public safety would want to promote and spend some money on to purchase the signs. What does everybody think about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, more signs, yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
So you see, Madam Master, can't take them.
Right. Yeah, because I don't think we can give them cameras or anything like that. So what does everyone think about that?
I like it.
Okay. Okay,
Okay, so you guys can add that to your project plan. That wasn't something already on your project plan. You can add it
right,
and then add a budget item if you want. Because
Okay,
I
I-
haven't presented that. I'll present it to council at the
Okay.
end of the month. So
okay.
if you
And
want to,
that's end of the, which month?
this month.
Okay,
I mean, the budget goes to Sadie to include in the packet, and then you will go to council
that's
to
fine.
present it in April.
Okay.
So,
Can I talk to them about adding it and what the budget items are now? Because I just wanted to also talk to them in the
Oh, yeah.
same, in the same email. For that first one that Elena has, it's under neighborhood watch events and I had 1,500. So what I proposed was raising that to 3,000 to include the neighborhood safety campaign with the signs. And let's see, on the second sheet on our budget, the police reports and citations. We've been told that the city's not going to pay for those anymore. So we can figure that out in the future. So that $1,000 budgeted will go away. We can just add it to the neighborhood watch events and then split another 500 and bump up National Night Out to $2,000. We can get more stuff for the kids.
Yeah.
And then in the classes, I added 500 to each of the classes for multiple times.
Right.
So I have a different, instead of the 13 that we had proposed and I given to Elena, it's now at 16,000. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, that would
so
be good.
I want to clarify, what you're asking is to increase the first line that's neighborhood
Watch events. Yes,
and increase that to 3,000?
yes,
Okay,
but I can send that to you, Elena.
okay.
That's no problem. And then
And then increase national night, or take off the.
that,
police
yeah, take
reports
off the police reports
And increase national night out
to
to
2,000.
2,000. Okay,
And then the city sponsored classes, Red Cross.
yeah,
Yes.
you did vote on that, increasing the city sponsored
But that-
classes. at
oh,
the
I did?
last. Yeah, we voted on your
Okay.
budget at the last meeting.
And that was 8,000?
And you voted to increase each of them to 2,000.
Got it. Okay.
So you're just amending that budget to
Yes.
increase the neighborhood watch
The first one.
to 3,000 and
Right.
increase the National Night Out event
Yes.
to 2,000?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. Supplies, handouts, bouncy balls,
Great.
frisbees, all that good stuff.
and then removing police reports. Okay. I will need a motion
Yes.
on that.
Could I get a motion to approve the 2025, 2026 TPSC budget? As,
I'll make a motion.
okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, have a second. Any discussion? Any other discussion?
I got
Okay.
a quick question.
Counselor, go ahead.
With the CPR, first aid,
Yes.
AED, is this all involved in that as well as the self-defense?
The what?
Is this all, does the self-defense and the first aid CPR, is this all part of that budget?
Yes.
Okay, okay. just-
And we're gonna look into over here, so we'll know where to go to. Try to
Well,
get
I
those
was
bucks.
actually going to suggest Estacade Athletic Arts. They did a self-defense recently. I took my daughter to. It was-
Okay.
They hired somebody really well, came out very
Okay.
practical. So I don't know how much that cost. But I was just wondering if that budget was part of that, because
Yes,
not free, so.
yeah, I'll get you all these too. The,
They will be included in the council packet.
Okay.
So, yeah,
all right,
you'll see it.
thank you, Lena.
Yep.
All right, so we're good with that. All right, sorry.
Okay.
What are we back on here? So is that all for the SMART goals and work plan?
Did you want to put in, so we didn't put in a timeline for the classes when we want to,
Okay.
think we have the classes.
Yeah, we had one in January, so that'll probably be, we don't want to do the summertime, so it'll probably be like October, November.
October.
that
okay.
one.
How
And then-
long, how long are they good for? A year?
Uh,
2 years?
Carrie, 2 years? 2 years, right? Heath, Carrie and I went to the one in January. That was
Nice.
good. Really good. It was infant, adult, CPR, AED, it was just everything.
Yeah.
It was good.
everyone Just, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
little guy, yep.
yeah.
And then do you want to hold the self-defense? You could do that one in the summer. Or do you want to do that one in the winter? When are you thinking about doing that one?
When do they have when is he available, like the most?
We can reach out to Paris
I'll
and
just
find
reach out.
out. Yeah.
Because when we did it, they had brought on somebody else,
Okay,
so that
All
would
right.
have to be coordinated with them.
all right, that sounds good. You can put summertime,
Okay,
you know, maybe July or
Okay.
after July 1, July 31st or something, anything.
sounds good.
Okay,
That just gives us a goal. It also allows us to reserve the room, because if you're planning on having it at Wade Creek Room,
right,
that can really fill up, especially on the weekends.
definitely.
Okay, and then did you want to put a timeline for your neighborhood safety campaign?
Timeline.
Yeah, so if you're
Oh,
ordering the signs, like when is our goal to have signs here and delivered, that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think we can kind of order them, like beginning of July,
Yeah.
because there's gonna be a lot of kids in the streets and
Yep, okay.
neighborhoods and the park over there and
Yeah.
the new splash pad, they're gonna be everywhere.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah,
You drop a pile of them off at my place, I'll disperse them around my neighborhood.
yep. That's good.
Okay,
All right,
that's everything I have, and I will update this and email it out to everybody.
thank you.
On the budget,
Yes,
we made the motion, did we not?
Oh, did you not vote?
I don't think we voted.
Oh,
I don't
'Cause I
think a vote
think-
was made.
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I
don't
had
believe
we
Shirley-
voted.
Shirley made
Yeah, I
the
don't-
motion, he
I don't-
Oh, I
seconded.
said discussion.
Yes, okay.
And I don't believe we actually voted.
All in favor of approving 2025, 2026 TPSC budget, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Thank you.
motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Tasha. Appreciate it. Okay, the safe routes to school, we'll just roll into the ADA part here. Elena was gracious enough to get me on board here. You want to go through the things once I throw them up there?
Sure.
Okay, I want to go in here and do a couple videos here. And sorry. Should have my granddaughter here helping me. Share, there we go. Okay, which one do I click, Elena? Entire screen? Oh, good Lord. There we go. Okay. All right. You ready, sir?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
These people were kind enough to help the old man in the chair across the busy traffic area. Yeah.
There we go. So 6 in Maine. That was pretty good, right?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was, it was kind of smooth. It went up the ramp there. There's a lot of different variations of wheelchairs. A lot of folks have, depending on their impairment, have electric units, but there are people around there wheeling around with their arms in town. And, what we've done is we did a field trip here with several of us, to just right around the school zone there, mainly at first. And Jimmy got another one there.
Yep.
This one here is
6 in Maine headed over towards the
Yeah.
high school area.
heading to the high school area there. So going across, one side is good, the other side is good, but then difficult to, let's just watch the little whiz bang here.
Aside from a lot of water on either side, it's pretty good.
You know, ideally, it would be great if there was a flashing light where somebody pushes the button, which is further on down for the crosswalk. Once again, if in the circle, in the 2017 study of this, around the perimeter of the school zone, a lot of these areas have already been targeted for signage and it's, you know, these are not new items, but just to get the feel of what it's like to be in a wheelchair, we took some turns on demonstrating, you know, how do you do things? And now you're on the other side of the street here on 6th, which if you needed to be on that side of the street, it's pretty doggone difficult to maneuver through rock. That's a tough one there, folks. Yeah, as far as, you know, the city putting sidewalk there or continue it on, that's an issue, but a lot of times folks are on one side of the street and there again, if you have an electric wheelchair, you're gonna have an advantage. When talking to people that are in a wheelchair, there's verbiage on certain spots around town where there's absolute can't get across moments. We're still talking to folks to pinpoint those areas. When we move across here, this is kind of a transitional moment. If you're in a manual wheelchair, you get stuck. And when you get stuck, you can't move. So, you know, these are easy fixed things with packed gravel. I pack gravel, you know, 1/4 inch minus, packs pretty hard, almost like concrete. But these are little fixes, especially around the school area. They don't cost a lot of money. I mean, it's not a big budget thing. Marking the area when you go to cross certain areas, especially around the school, once again, you're in a limited zone. Like this thing here has got a big lip on it on the sidewalk. So it's easy for somebody to say, well, you shouldn't be on that side of the sidewalk but if you had to be over there, you wouldn't fare well.
I do want to clarify something. Sidewalks are not necessarily the city's responsibility. Sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owners.
Okay,
So it's the sidewalks in front of City Hall, city's responsibility.
okay,
Sidewalks in front of, you know, somebody's house, that's the property owner's responsibility. Now, I'd love you guys calling them out and saying, here's the areas that need to be fixed.
sure.
But this is something that we're going to have to send a notice to the property owner to do that repair. So I just want you guys to be aware of that.
Okay, that's a good call.
I just have a question about that. So when we're doing new developments in town,
Yes.
are they doing sidewalks?
Yes, yeah, the sidewalks are required to be built by the developer. Yes,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's in
Yeah,
the transportation system.
it's in the
plan.
transportation system plan.
Yeah.
There's very few instances where you're not required to build a sidewalk. There've been like a couple where there's no sidewalk in the area and this one new person comes in to build a house and then we'll do what's called like a developer agreement that says when the other properties put in sidewalks, that whole row has to put in sidewalks. So that's the only time that we, yeah,
Fourth.
yes, yep, up on Fourth. So that's the only time where we don't require a developer to put in sidewalks. Otherwise, all these new houses going in, they're required to put in sidewalks.
Houses there don't have to put in sidewalks. They're existing.
Existing houses don't have to put in sidewalks until they do improvement above a certain amount, and then it triggers them to put in sidewalks. I don't know off the top of my head what it is that triggers that development to put in sidewalks, but if they do remodeling above a certain amount, like they have to pull a building permit above a certain amount, that triggers them to do sidewalks and curbs for existing houses.
Got it. Is that
It's working. It's
Oh,
thinking.
rolling up?
Sorry. Circle of death there.
There's these are, like I said, mentioned a minute ago, some easy fixes. Going across this intersection here, there's a push button light, which is great. That's really good. It flashes. And going across to the other side, there's a differentiated area of the pavement at the concrete slope of the sidewalk. And that was a tough one to get across. Not that it's not really a big deal, but it is if you're motoring across there in this type of a wheelchair. You'll see in a minute, it just puts you right in the stop moment here. Yep, there you go. Kaboom. And it's the difference. It was probably less than 2 inches, but it was enough to make it very difficult at that moment. And these are simple safety things that I believe can be resolved pretty quick.
The asphalt would be city's responsibility, right?
The roadway? Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's in the roadway, if you guys have a pothole or something like that needs filled, you just
Yeah.
send a ticket to Public Works and generally they can get in there with some
Yeah.
cold pack.
And that's right.
You showed it there.
Yeah.
This situation here is one side of the street is
6
working
Broadway.
good and has the yellow grid that is, and the other side doesn't, and it's, right at the end of, this is 6th and Broadway. Once again, difficult maneuvering there because of the different variated pavement concrete. Designated areas, one of the things in the 2017 program where they laid all the things around the school district there. A lot of the chevrons were mentioned, and that come up with the painting on the street. It's kind of critical for the school area. We were there when the kids got out and everything, and it's a pretty heavy traffic thing. It's common every school day, in the morning and in the evening too. So after they get off. Of course, we saw kids running in front of vehicles and stuff like that, like kids do, But this situation here is you couldn't roll up between the pavement and the concrete.
So while that's loading, our city planner is working on a GIS map that does a sidewalk inventory. So if you guys have the exact locations, we could send it to him. He could develop the sidewalk inventory
yeah.
and say where they need to be repaired, and that helps us track it too. So I mean, the videos are great, but it's kind of hard to tell in some of these where you are.
We have all the locations. That's fine.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we do have that, so. And then,
Broadway. Come on.
which one you got there?
6 and Broadway going north to River Mill Elementary.
Okay.
There we go. Yahoo.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, some young guy.
You know, that made me nervous when I did that because when I got back, I asked him how tall I was, right? I'm about the height of a 10-year-old. And when looking into these vehicles, I could hardly see from my elevation to where they're at. Like there was very difficult seeing. I don't remember. being
Different
sure.
experience.
It made me uncomfortable. It's weird.
It's like if you're used to driving a truck all the time and you get in an automobile, a little sedan.
I think everybody at some point should experience this. And we can have more down the road, whatever. It's just a different feeling. And then you know what folks are going to transport themselves in local areas here. Do you have the one in
Yes,
front of the City Hall?
I do.
Thank you for your patience.
Next. So council coming back over. Hey,
Here he comes.
all right, so slow. I don't know what's going on.
Did it stop? No, it's
No,
still
it's
going.
Thinking. Yeah. There we go.
Uh,
Almost there, Carrie, hold on.
that was a stuck moment in time. Zoom. Got to fast forward.
Yeah, we only got 2 left, so. There's one you need right there, Carrie. Okay. There you go. Okay, see, I'm all in work.
This one is right out in front of the City Hall. Yeah, there's a moment in time where it's difficult, more difficult than the almost 2-inch curb. It's just-
The City Hall Bike Plaza was built with ADA accessibility with the
Sure.
plan that people are accessing it from either the parking spots. So they can access it from here, which has the ADA parking on this side of the building, or they access from there with the ADA parking on that side of the building. That stairs right there was not meant to be ADA accessible space. That was more for people who might be walking in from, we would expect wheelchairs to cross where there is the crosswalk and the light, not over here, over by the highway.
Now that there's the crosswalk there, it might have a little.
Originally was a library anyway, it wasn't a city hall.
It was originally a fire station, but that was,
A little bit of everything.
yes.
All right, so we got all that. Appreciate you guys' patience there. And
Okay,
stop share, right?
anyway, yeah.
There we go. All right, so let's see, Lena put something in here titled correspondence.
Yes, so we got an email. It actually came to code enforcement, but it
Okay.
really is something that should come before you guys, which is a citizen request for a wheelchair ramp on Larch along Beach Street.
Yes, okay,
So you can add that to your list when you
Yep.
send us the
Sure.
list of the locations for the sidewalk issues and the wheelchair ramps that we can put in our sidewalk inventory.
sure. So email and then, okay. And let's see,
And then we also had the evacuation survey.
Yep.
And
are
you
you
guys
able to
attend-
put that on our Facebook page?
Yes,
I
yeah.
didn't know if it was on there yet.
It might already, I think I might have already
Okay.
shared it. If I haven't,
not have
I'll
to,
share it.
sure.
But that's just for you guys to have
Yeah.
the information. And then Tasha asked to include
Yes,
yes, this is we're going to be closing Eagle Creek
Mhm.
Road,
Mhm.
starting March 26th. It's posted on the website, so the big banner across the top of the website, you can look at it and see the
Okay.
dates that it's closed. It's going to be closed to through traffic, so people who live on that road will still be able to access, but you won't be able to drive through. Traffic will have to go around.
are you able to share what you shared today onto the traffic and public safety? Because I know you guys put it out on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yes,
Are you
yes.
able to do
So
the
that'll
same?
go, yeah, there's a way that Facebook can do an alert based on your geolocation for traffic incidences as
Okay.
a government agency. And so that's what we'll do to share it on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Just getting down to the others here. Event subcommittee, I don't know if we have anything. No, okay. Communications, we got the road blockage there for March 26th to April 26th. And traffic safety, I don't know. I don't think we have anything. What about you, Counselor? You have anything else? Anyone? All right. So I now close the Traffic and Public Safety Committee meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.